My name's. Stop making me laugh. Gabe, just use the other intro, it doesn't matter. My name's Clay Mitchell, I'm 26 years old and I'm the founder of BoxHub. Today we're going to be kicking off the series Inside the Box, which is diving into the journey of BoxHub and explaining how we began the business. I wasn't planning on starting it as BoxHub, it kind of just started as renting a space. The main idea at the beginning was to start a CrossFit gym. Even though I don't do any CrossFit or anything, I just had an idea to start a gym. From that, I ended up developing a space from scratch that was previously derelict and abandoned for, I think it was 10 years. So right at the beginning, you kind of learn painting, decorating. So I advertised the space on Gumtree. A dance school actually got in touch with me and they wanted to rent the space off me like 3 times a week, but they didn't want any equipment in the space. That completely changed the direction that I was going to take the space in. So I ended up developing a space that was a blank canvas for yoga teachers, Pilates teachers, everyone that has just done their training course to become a fitness instructor, but they don't necessarily have their own space to do it in. Health Hub Studios became a stepping stone for people who've just newly qualified to rent a space by hour or by day without taking on a full space themselves and having to take on bills, their responsibility. Yeah, so Health Hub Studios became a brand in itself. And as we were growing, I was doing more office style spaces. The name Health Hub Studios didn't really make sense in the new direction of the business. I decided to come up with a generic name that kind of worked for everything. And that's when I came up with the name BoxHub. BoxHub launched in 2020 and it's kind of just grown from then. So when we rebranded BoxHub, and that was the main push of the business, was doing office space and studio space on a permanent basis, we took larger spaces on and created smaller units. So with the office space, it gave us more of a foundation for the business that we could then grow from. It was more reliable for us. We knew exactly how much money would be coming in each month. And when you're looking at growing a business, it's so important to be able to set aside money to pay bills and then have money to grow as well. So having that reliable source of income really helped us create a path for growth. I then acquired a new unit up at Charing Cross, which is the old Harley Davidson shop. The type of clients that we'd be targeting is creative businesses, small, independent businesses. We're looking for creatives, artists. We've got a nail salon, we've got a tattoo studio, a marketing agency, barber studio. As well as doing office space, we also launched the Creative Container, which was a photo studio within BoxHub. Similar to the space we're in just now, we created a blank room with an infinity cove white wall and started targeting production hires. As well as production companies coming in and using the photo studio, we also had quite a lot of influencers coming in and using the space. We actually ended up working quite closely with a lot of them and use this as a form of promotion. So even to this day, we don't still do photo studio hires, but we do get a lot of people getting in touch to try and book the photo studio. So as well as having the photo studio at this point, there was a space that opened up just next door. Same again, going into a space that's completely derelict. If you looked at that at day one, you would not envision, oh, that's a unique venue space. It's not something that you would think, but what's a strength of mine is looking at a space and seeing the opportunity and kind of taking on a space that's run down and adding value to it. The long-term idea was to put an event space in here, but the short-term idea, there was going to have to be something in there day-to-day functioning until we got an alcohol license. I then switched and had the idea to open a coffee shop. We bought a 20-foot shipping container because I like the idea of having an industrial space. People describe it as industrial chic. We took a 20-foot container, cut the sides out, fitted it out as a bar / coffee shop. That's when I launched BoxHub as a coffee shop day to day. So having the coffee shop as a day-to-day business like really helped us bringing people into the space that hadn't booked the photo studio or they don't have an office here. They could come in and get a coffee fix, they could get their lunch, and you could really start developing relationships at this stage. Even today, that now we're running as an event space, we've still got a coffee shop in there. It's not run by myself, it's run by Macrotrition, but it still adds something to the business. So when people are showing up for viewings, there's a bit of an atmosphere here, which is probably really important, because if they're coming out to view a space for an event, for a birthday party, a wedding, having the music on, having people in the space as a welcoming environment, I think it really helps push event hires. The new idea was to push pop-up shops. So this is when we started working with Lululemon. That was one of the first pop-up shops we had, but working with such a reputable brand, it's another thing that adds to the foundations of the business. It's credibility. It's what's going to help you grow. So we had the event with Lululemon and they absolutely loved it. We've actually worked with them a few times since then. That was the first event that we were working to an extreme deadline, that we had electricians working till the last 20-30 minutes before the event started, I think. Yeah, there was a queue forming outside as we were still working on space. So you're setting these deadlines and things have to be done. Deadlines all the time. Every day there's a deadline. The space is booked out every weekend. We've got engagement parties. We're now doing weddings within the space. We had the Snuts filmed their music video for, I think they've got a song called Glasgow. The Snuts actually came to us when they launched their new album and they wanted to use our rooftop space to film. So I think that was probably the first music gig we really had. Yeah, so Red Bull actually started collaborating with us when we were at the photo studio stage. They liked what we were doing in terms of having loads of creatives coming into the space. From that relationship over the years as we developed, Red Bull actually got back in touch with us, and that summer just there they filmed Chris Kyle, he's a sponsored athlete for Red Bull. He's a BMX rider. So he filmed a video when he was suspended underneath a hot air balloon in a kind of bowl. He wanted to do a kind of live Q&A of that event. So Red Bull thought, what better space to use than the rooftop at Box Hub, because it links quite well with the video. With the rooftop, there was a lot of production that went into this event. They had a large LED screen installed on the roof. They went full Red Bull style with canopies, deck chairs, bean bags, downstairs, DJ booth. It was really cool to see the space set up. Luckily the weather held out and we had an amazing sunset. There was loads of different athletes that came. Danny McCaskill was here, as someone that I used to watch when I was a kid. He was here and he came into Box Hub. He was like, it's an amazing space. So yeah, no, it was quite a cool experience to have. And yeah, it's one to remember. So a lot of it was kind of learn as you go, make use of what you have and not try and make a room something that it's not. Work with what it is and make that unique in its own way. Another space we started developing was the warehouse located down on South Street, which is an industrial area of Glasgow that's known for shipbuilding. The vision of this was to push it as a multi-purpose event space. Similar to the Venel, it's been derelict again for a long period of time. Going in, starting from day one, painting, stripping things out, decorating and just tidying the space up and watching it transform week in, week out. So some of the events we've had in the warehouse is Crepe City, which is a sneaker pop-up. The event setup they had was 150 tables set up, which occupied 150 vendors. And throughout the day, there was 3 blocks of 300 to 400 people coming in at a time. Being the first event in the warehouse, it was quite daunting, but at the same time, like I said before, putting yourself under that pressure gives you the drive to make sure that everything's going to be absolutely fine. It's going to run smooth. All the vendors and everyone enjoying and just seeing the space have a bit of energy around it. The main thing about hosting events like this is gathering content. That's what Gabriel's here for. The content's valuable because content acts as marketing as well as displaying to people that are coming in and viewing a space what you can do, because a lot of people don't have the vision or the imagination to picture how a space could look. So every single event we do, obviously with the client's discretion, if we're able to capture, if it's set up differently, it's always good to have the content because it means it gives everyone else an example of what can be done. Off the back of the Crepe City event, we then had Les Mills get in touch and they booked in to do a 2-day hire. First day was just set up and then second day was 15 classes throughout the day. So they had classes set up for 500 people at a time doing a fitness class. As we started getting into the event side of things, being a one-man band was near enough impossible for me to manage all the emails, conduct viewings, run events. that's when Matt came into the picture. He's events manager. Matt will conduct the viewings, he'll deal with any email inquiries. I'll focus on driving and development of the kind of business side of things. So yeah, it works out quite well because he's pretty similar to me. He's obviously one of my best friends. Up until this point, it's just been us learning as we go and creating our own procedures and how we deal with clients and creating everything ourselves. But if we had someone who had years of experience in events industry and they teach us the ways that they've done it over the years, they might be better, they might have other ideas on how to develop our strategy. So yeah, definitely once we get another venue open, there'll be an opportunity for someone else to come on board and drive the business further.
I can cut that out. How do you get this into a big deal?